am Phoebe Louise. I'm from batch 117 of ABTHA, ABFA, so Theater Arts from Benilde. The phrase I usually use is I'm a Jacqueline of many trades because while I am being interviewed probably because I've been performing in Benilde, I am also a writer, a video editor, a graphic designer, and I'm a hobby painter. I kind of do a whole bunch of stuff. Usually, as a performer, I'm either an actress or more rarely, I'm a dancer. So my background is in dance and movement, not really as an actress. I was a trained classical ballet dancer, but at 17, I was like, this is the only thing I'm gonna do. So I started doing contemporary, and then I stopped dancing for a couple of years. I was like, maybe I'm not cut out to be a dancer, so I started getting into video editing. Medyo like all the way on the other side. So I went from being on stage to being obsessed with things that happened behind the camera, not being seen, just to see what it's like, and I really enjoyed that.
Can you talk about the projects that you have been a part of?
The projects that I've been a part of in Benilde, I've been part of a couple. So my very first one was Musta. It was the first time I actually did anything that wasn't dancing on stage. I had never done anything like it before. I entered Benilde thinking I would be in the production track. So I thought I'd be backstage. You know, maybe I'd write a couple of things. I'd be a stage manager. I'd be maybe a production designer. The second term of my first year, a professor recommended me to an arts management class. He was like, there's this girl, her name is Phoebe. Well, why don't you contact her? She might be interested in doing this project. And that project turned out to be Musta. And that was the first time it even occurred to me that I could be anything but a person backstage. And after that, I got into a couple of Crossroads performances. So there's Maria Cacao and 17.9. But then most of my work has been really with the theater arts course. There's so many. I was a graphic designer for Larawan ng Pilipino Bilang Artista, Cadaver. For a short while, I was supposed to keep going on as graphic designer for Kung Paano Maghiwalay, but that got canceled because of COVID. And currently, I'm the head of graphics and media for the thesis of my friends, Sam, Kyla, and Bella. Is that it? Oh, yeah. And I was also an actress for Three Rats, which was in 2018. And I was in El Mar de Sangre as the asawa. I wrote and acted in an interactive play, fully online. It's called The Boarding House. Yeah, so that happened last year. And I was also the video editor for it. So it's really a bunch of stuff.
Since you've been part of so many projects, I guess I want to ask if you have any favorites.
My favorites are Musta and The Boarding House.
So I'm really curious. Who are your favorite artists or your main inspiration?
Like, my favorite artist changes a lot because the experience of being an artist changes every day. And a lot of the time it's because of the people that you're with. So my favorite artists are the people that I'm surrounded by. So a lot of the time that's my friends.
What about life in general? Where do you get your inspiration from?
Mental health is one inspiration. As a person who goes through anxiety and depression, and it's been something I've dealt with for more than 10 years, that's usually the very first thing that I draw inspiration from, that kind of experience. But then there's also the social political atmosphere that we live in right now. It's kind of difficult to talk about those issues given our current political climate, but that kind of veiled and yet sort of communal experience that we have as Filipinos how we can't really talk about certain things without the possibility of getting bashed or without the possibility of maybe getting trolled. That kind of experience, it's something that I'm really, really into right now. How do we talk about things that we can't talk about? There.
That's very beautiful.
If you can meet any artist in the world, living or dead, who would it be?
A living artist. Her name is Ez Devlin. She's a production designer. I just really like her stuff. And she seems like a really cool person to talk to. Although I'd be really, really scared. Because, like, she's Ez Devlin. When I watch her talk, it seems like she's just really she's a person who's just really into what she does, especially for the community that she does it for. She's a theater production designer, but she also designs stages for pop people like Adele. Her range is pretty wide. I wonder what it's like to be someone who does something like that, but it's all just production design, or like what will the stage look like, that kind of thing.
Before we end, please continue the phrase, art for me is...
Art for me is empathy in motion. Please support my friend's thesis of the Sam and Kyla. It's their thesis, and please follow our page on Facebook, Teatro 77. It's pretty easy to find us, and we're just a bunch of students, and our homework is play. People can find me on Instagram at Phantasma Phoebe.